Okay, so we've got this pretty surprising stat, actually, right off the bat with this data you sent.
Oh, yeah.
Over half of Gen Z, it says, that are leaving religion are women, a huge 54%.
Wow.
That's really points to something kind of big happening right now with religion in America, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And the material you gave me, I mean, it's really comprehensive, this picture of, how things are changing.
Right.
And that Gen Z stat is really just the tip of the iceberg.
Totally. And you're awesome listeners. You wanted this deep dive, into this whole thing with younger women and religion changing. So think of this as your cheat sheet to understanding all the stuff behind it, the surprising stuff too. And, that great chart you sent, that's what really got us started.
Yeah, this is important stuff we're talking about here, right? I mean, it's not just about, a few people making choices. This is society really changing.
Right.
It makes you wonder about how we connect with each other now, how we figure out who we are, what's it all about.
Yeah.
Data on the screen, numbers come alive. Male, female flows where the patterns thrive. Visual charts, public outlets unify. Gender decoded, bringing truth to light. Watch them all drum fill. We break it down, real talk. Trends unveiling, facts from every block. Here's your insight, watch the data glide. Gender decoded, let the beats collide.
Okay, so let's break it all down, starting with the different generations.
Okay.
That Gen Z thing, we said 54% women leaving versus 46% men. It's got to be a sign of something pretty unique, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is true that younger people overall, both men and women, they are leaving religion more than older folks.
Right.
But that Gen Z stat, that a majority are women, that's a huge signal.
And it's not brand new either. It seems to be getting stronger with Gen Z, but with millennials, it was already happening.
Right.
47% women leaving religion versus 53% men. So the gap is smaller. But it's still more women than men.
Yeah, that's a good point. The millennial data tells us this has been going on for a while.
Right.
But with Gen Z, it's it's really coming into focus now.
So then what about Gen X and the baby boomers, the older folks?
Well,
it flips or gets way more balanced.
Right.
55% to 57% of them leaving religion are men.
Huh.
So basically, the younger you are, the more likely it is that women are the ones moving away from religion.
That's exactly it. That generation breakdown is so important, because it shows us this isn't just a general decline in religion.
Yeah.
It's something specific going on with younger women.
Which brings us to what feels like a huge clue in all this.
What's that?
How do men and women of different ages see equality in their churches or religious groups?
Right.
That data is pretty eye-opening, especially for the younger adults.
Oh, for sure. Look at the 18 to 29-year-olds. 65% of women, they feel like churches don't treat men and women equally.
Wow.
But only 54% of men in that same age group feel that way. That's a big difference.
And it doesn't go away quickly as women get older either, at least not right away.
Yeah.
Look at the 30 to 49-year-olds, almost the same numbers. 64% of women see inequality versus 55% of men. Seems like this isn't just young people being young. It's something women feel for a long time.
And even in the older groups, the 50 to 64-year-olds and the 65 and up, the numbers change a little, but the pattern's the same. Women always more likely than men to feel like things aren't equal for them religion-wise.
So it's you can't help but see a connection there, right?
What do you mean?
If you feel like you're not equal, that your voice doesn't count, that there's a limit on you because you're a woman. It makes sense. You'd want to find somewhere you do feel accepted and respected, right?
Yeah, that feeling of not being treated fairly, it can push people away.
Totally.
If churches seem like they're part of the problem, not supporting women's experiences, it makes sense that younger women, they're more aware of this stuff than ever.
Right.
They're going to want to be somewhere they feel good about being.
So let's look at the numbers of people who say they're religiously unaffiliated, by generation.
Okay.
This is where you see the knowns really taking off.
The knowns.
Yeah, Gen Z women. It's about 39% of them who say they aren't affiliated with any religion, compared to 34% of Gen Z men. So again, more women than men not connecting with a specific religion.
Yeah, that fits with the earlier data we talked about, right?
Totally.
The one about people leaving religion, it shows us Gen Z women, they're really leading this whole shift away from organized religion.
Now, millennials are interesting. About 34% of women say they're unaffiliated. But for millennial men, it's 37%.
Oh, wow.
So for millennials, more men are unaffiliated than women, but it's still high for both.
That's a good point. It's like the reasons for not being religious, they might be a little different for millennials versus Gen Z.
Right.
But the big thing is both generations have way more unaffiliated people than older folks.
And when you compare these numbers to like Gen X and baby boomers, it's a huge difference.
Right.
Way fewer of them are unaffiliated, which just proves this is massive generational shift.
Yeah.
It's the younger folks, especially the women who are saying, hey, traditional religion, it's not working for me.
Exactly what the data shows us, a real split between generations.
Okay, so now for the really interesting stuff, some of the details that jumped out from all this research.
Okay, let's hear it.
The knowns, growing steadily. That's wild. 20% of Americans in 2013 said they had no religion. But a decade later, it's 26%, or even higher.
Wow.
And remember, that's atheists, agnostics, and people who just say nothing in particular.
That's a big jump. It's not just a few people changing their minds.
Right. It's a whole chunk of America rethinking things.
Totally.
And it's not just about what religion you are or aren't. It's how people are practicing or not practicing.
Right.
The report says weekly attendance is down across the board. Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox, even faiths that are known for being really tight-knit, like Latter-day Saints and Muslims, they're seeing some drops too.
So even people who still consider themselves part of a religion, maybe they're not as involved as they used to be.
Right. Maybe it's like a change in how we do spirituality, more personal, less formal.
Interesting.
And this is where the Gen Z women come in again. The report makes it clear they're leading this change.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the stuff that used to keep women connected to their congregations, it's not working as well anymore.
Like
volunteering, church activities, family traditions, that kind of thing. Maybe doesn't have the same pull for younger women now.
Makes you think they're looking for meaning and community in new places if their needs aren't being met, in the traditional ways.
Right. And the report also says that whole thing about men and women seeing gender equality differently.
Yeah.
It's not just a religious thing.
Really?
It's like a reflection of what's going on in all of society.
So it's like a microcosm, the church stuff.
Exactly. It's connected to the big conversations we're having about women, their roles, leadership, all that.
Yeah, the younger women who aren't happy with how equal things are in their religious groups, it's not coming out of nowhere.
Right. It's tied to everything else that's happening.
For sure.
Okay, so what's causing all this? The report talks about some key factors, and the first one is shifting social norms.
Okay.
A big focus on individual choice, personal identity. Younger women, these seem way more willing now to question the old ways of doing things, especially if those ways seem like they're all about male power or out of touch with how we see gender now.
That's a big one, isn't it? People wanting to make their own choices, not just follow what they're told.
Huge, especially younger folks. They don't just do things because that's how it's always been done.
They got to feel like their beliefs fit with their lives,
So the educational attainment, that's another factor.
What does that mean?
Younger people are more educated than ever, especially women.
Right.
And it seems like the more education you have, the more you question things.
Makes sense, right? You learn more, you think more critically.
Exactly. And the rise of digital communication, that's massive. The internet, social media, it's like a whole new world for finding information, connecting with people.
A whole new world.
You can find groups that aren't religious, explore different ideas about spirituality, stuff that has nothing to do with the traditional churches.
Yeah, the internet's changed everything, hasn't it? It's like this huge library and meeting place all rolled into one. It's so true. And for people who don't feel welcome in the old school religious settings, online spaces can be really validating.
Absolutely. And then there's political and social movements.
Right. All the stuff about women's rights, LGBTQ plus inclusion, racial justice.
Yeah, huge issues.
And some people feel like religious institutions are too slow to change on those issues, or even working against progress, which can push people away, especially if they care deeply about those causes.
Makes sense for a lot of younger folks. Those social justice issues are non-negotiable,
Yeah, if your values clash with what you see happening in your church or whatever, it creates a real conflict.
For sure.
And lastly, emphasis on authenticity and autonomy.
Okay.
It seems like millennials and Gen Z, they really want to live in a way that feels true to them more than previous generations.
Yeah, I can see that.
And if organized religion feels too rigid,
Yeah.
Too judgmental, too inflexible,
Yeah.
younger folks, and especially women, they might say, this isn't for me. It's like they don't want to pretend to believe something they don't or live by rules that don't feel right to them.
Exactly. And women are dealing with so many expectations from society already, right? So if religion adds to that pressure, it's like, no thanks.
No thanks. That's it. Exactly.
So it's like all these things are mixing together. Younger women leaving religion more than men, probably because they feel like they're not treated equally.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, all the changes in society, individual choice being more important and social movements challenging the old ways.
It's like a perfect storm.
Yeah, and the data shows us this is all happening right now. Traditional religion is struggling to connect with the younger generations, especially women.
Yeah, it's like they're looking for something different, something that speaks to them.
So you are an amazing listener by being here with us on this deep dive.
Right.
You've got a much better grasp on this whole thing.
Yeah.
You've saved yourself tons of time trying to figure it all out on your own.
Right. It's like we gave you a shortcut to understanding a really complex issue.
Yeah. So think about all this. More women leaving religion than men. Gender inequality and the changes in society. Yeah. And here's a final thought. Given all this and how people are finding connection and meaning in new ways, what kind of communities and ways of belonging will we see in the future? With younger people kind of moving on from the old religious ways.
Yeah, that's a question that gets to the heart of it all.
Right.
It's not just about who's leaving religion. It's about how we're all figuring out how to connect with each other and find our place in the world.
Exactly.
The world's changing fast, and this is just one way we're seeing it happen.
That's a great point.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, folks, that wraps up this deep dive. Be sure to check back soon for more great content.
You bet.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.